Well, let me tell you about my big conversation today. Tomorrow, the Ghana Immigration Service is expected to roll out a new 5-year strategic plan aiming at modernizing the service. The new plan estimates to spend nearly 500 million Ghana cedis on. That's a lot. And they're doing that over the next 5 years, building infrastructure and improving aid activities. For example, security at the country's borders will be increased under the new plan with increased border controls. We're talking about CCTV and other surveillance cameras, as well as the use of drones. Yes, drones. Now, the intervention is expected to address the issues of cross-border crime as well as smuggling of goods and humans. In the studio with me is Deputy Commissioner of Immigration, Afari. He's Head of Management Information Systems at the GIS, that's the Ghana Immigration Service, and of course he's going to break it down to us because he's also the chairman of the Strategic Plan Technical Working Group. That's a mouthful, I admit, but let's get on with the conversation. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you in our studio. Let's talk
you.
about the areas you're focusing on. 500 million cedis, that's quite a lot of money. Which areas are you focusing on, and when you are done, what should we, the taxpayer, see?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Tomorrow we are launching the program. It's a well-designed program that is supposed to restructure the immigration service and then reposition it to be able to meet the challenges of the current migration trend.
Okay.
There are 6 areas that we're focusing on. The first is the human resource section, which we call the human resource pillar. The second pillar is our laws and policies. Okay. And then the third is ICT, very critical and central to the plan. The fourth is equipment and infrastructure. The fifth is stakeholder cooperation. And then finally, funding and financing.
Okay. So these are the areas. Now, let's focus a bit on what you're going to do at our borders, because one of the major concerns that a lot of Ghanaians have is that is about the state of our borders, how porous they are, and how easy it is for anybody to walk in and out with perhaps anything. What are you going to do? What changes are we looking at, and how safe will that make us?
Yes, I want to accept the fact that we are even not very satisfied with the state of our borders. It's a fact that there's more that we can do to secure this country. But I think that it's a combination of various factors that have led to this situation. We do not have enough personnel. We have not invested in border infrastructure as a state. And I believe that if we are able to do this properly, we would be able to secure this country. For this plan, our intention is to secure our borders, to make illegal crossing of our borders very, very unattractive, and to also equip officers with the appropriate logistics to be able to patrol the borders and ensure that we secure our borders. Now, do not also forget, in the Immigration Act 2016, the immigration has been given the official mandate, that's the legitimate mandate, to patrol our borders. Okay. So apart from the official crossing point that we all know, we also have the additional responsibility of patrolling the unapproved and the unmanned part of the borders to deter people from crossing illegally. In fact, if you study the topography and the nature of settlement, you realize that there are a lot of settlements that have sprung up along the borders. Okay. And the local communities, they do not see anything about international frontier. They cross in and out. And the miscreants also take advantage of that. So what are you going to do with this $500 million, almost $500 million? Yeah, we're going to devote about 80% of the funds that we have for this project for building equipment and infrastructure. Okay. So 80% of that goes into equipment and infrastructure. In terms of equipment, I was just talking in my introduction about how you're going to be deploying drones and how you're going to deploy CCTV cameras and other surveillance mechanisms. Tell us a bit more about that so at least we can feel the security that you're promising. Yes. First of all, we're going to do some recruitment and then train specialized officers for border patrol. Okay. And so training is a major component and the recruitment is a major component of this. Now, this group of people are going to add up to the number that we have now to be given the appropriate equipment. We're going to have surveillance equipment deployed across all our borders. Okay. We are also thinking that we would have drones if we have the resources. We've done some budgeting to it.
Exactly. I was going to come to that because if you tell us that you have a budget, then we expect that we're doing a bit of specifics here. How many drones do you intend to buy, for example?
Well, for now, we intend to buy about 10 drones.
About 10?
Yes.
Okay, and then you deploy it in, so each region?
We deploy to, you know, we have the eastern frontier, the western frontier, and then the northern frontier.
Okay.
And so for the eastern frontier, which is very long and very active borders, we intend to deploy about 5 drones there.
Okay.
And then about 3 will go to the western frontier.
Okay.
And then the other will go to the northern frontier.
Okay.
Now, the idea is that this would work hand in hand with the ICT department. We're going to have a system where we network all our borders together with our ICT department at the head office and other regional offices, such that whatever happens at the borders can be monitored within and without. Okay.
Can you break that down a little bit? How will that help with border security if you have the... I get the connection. So there's a network sort of base,
yes,
so they can communicate with one another. But then how will that, you know...
Now, once the borders are viewed, once you are able to monitor every movement within the borders, what it means that anywhere that we find that people are crossing without the appropriate distance, we have to deploy officers there. And so we're going to have different teams of officers that will be distributed across all the frontiers.
Okay.
And then as and when they need you quickly, we deploy you to go.
Speaking of officers, you say that one of the reasons why our borders are porous is because we don't have the men. You speak about recruitment in this 5-year strategic plan. Yeah. How many people are you going to recruit?
At the moment, our staff strength is just about 5,000.
Okay.
It's our hope that we can increase this to about 8,000 within the next 5 years.
So you're adding 3,000.
3,000. Yes.
So have you already started with the recruitment process? Are people aware? Are they applying?
Well, I'm sure you might be aware that early part of last year or the latter part of last year, with this recruitment, it is all geared towards this project. Okay. They have not been invited yet to go for training, but I'm sure within some few months to come, they will be at the school to train.
You speak about almost 500 million, not exactly 407 plus. So almost 500 million CDs we're looking at here. That's a lot of money. Where is it coming from?
Well, immigration is a subvented institution. We receive subventions from the government every year. At the same time, we also receive a lot of project funding from our development partners. We are hoping that if we put together very credible and very good proposals, we'll be able to attract some funding. Remember that the strategic plan that we have here, that will be launched tomorrow, it was funded by the European Union.
So the strategic plan of the Immigration Service is funded by the European Union?
Yes.
Why? Ghana doesn't have the ability to fund its own security-oriented programs?
Ghana has the ability, but I think that we also we belong to the international community. And there are a lot of funds that can be used in migration management. Do not forget that immigration is an internationally oriented institution. Most of our activities affect the international community. Now, if we are weak as an institution, it means that more and more people will leave this country undocumented, and that becomes a problem. Look at the situation in Libya as at now. We are supposed to secure the borders and ensure that we even educate the public not to embark on this perilous journey across the Mediterranean Sea. And
so you're getting funding from the European Union and government, I suppose?
Yes.
And government. How much is government giving you?
We're also going to streamline our revenue collection processes. We believe that in every system, if care is not taken, there will be leakages. So we're going to put additional efforts or make additional effort to ensure that we plug all the loopholes that are in the system.
Do you already have the money sitting in your account?
We do not have, but we are assured of government subvention that one comes.
And then the European Union support?
Well, we've already sent a few proposals, and we are hopeful that the money will come so that they will tackle the various individual projects.
Well, if you are still, you don't have the money yet, and you are only hopeful, I mean, why? I don't have the hope. Along with you as a Ghanaian,
there is hope because we already know that there's a whole array of funds that is there. All that you need to do is to be able to identify specific projects. And I'm sure that we have already done.
I see. Let's wrap up this conversation with what Ghanaians are expected to see what is your strategy, what are the timelines, your strategy for implementation, the timeline, so we can at least monitor you.
It is a 5-year strategic plan. Each component is being rolled out on a yearly basis. We have a year-on rollout for every component. We have also been able to deploy a communication strategy that would enable us to be able to interact with the public at every time. So we hope that within the next 5 years, we would be able to apply ICT in our operations, and the ICT penetration in our operations and processes will be about 80%. And we believe that will enable the Immigration Service to deliver on our mandate.
I see. So in 5 years, we're expecting to, I was hoping that there's something that, tangible that, we could say after 5 years, this is how the new phase of the Ghana Immigration Service, for example, the new phase where, is it possible for people to see that this is what you have done? This is the new phase of the Immigration Service.
We are hoping that in the next 5 years, at least all borders within the country will be secured.
Secured. Well, that's quite relative, but we don't have a lot of time to go into that. So we'll leave the conversation here. I'll ask for your final words if you do have any, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Well, we want to thank everybody for the assistance given. We thank the European Union through the ICMPD, that's the International Center for Migration Policy Management. They gave us technical assistance. We thank the Ministry of Interior and all their stakeholders who have assisted us. We also thank you for giving us this platform to market the immigration strategic plan.
We want to be safe. We want to be in a country where we can confidently say that our borders are safe.
There will be security. Let me also say that in the past, we did not have Border Patrol as a legitimate responsibility. Now, the law that we have, which is this, Immigration Act 908, is clearly stated that the borders must be patrolled by the Immigration Service. We are also supposed to also issue visas.
That you do already?
No, we do it internally, but we share that responsibility in Foreign Affairs. But we will be taking over the missions very soon.
Yes. So that sounds like an interesting conversation that we could have gone deeper into, but of course, time is always the devil. That's not on our side. I've been speaking to Deputy Commissioner of Immigration, Eric Afari. He's Head of Management Information System at the Immigration Headquarters, and he's also Chairman of the Strategic Plan Technical Working Group. They're looking to roll out a 5-year strategic plan that should make you and I safe, or that should make us confident that our borders are not as porous as it is as we speak, where people can walk in and out with anything, you know what I mean? Anyway, we hope that after maybe not too much in 5 years, maybe 1 year, we could see something that we could measure and say that, yeah, they made us a promise and they've delivered. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Thank you too.